Hello, everyone. This is Editor Bill Hernandez with rockbandreviews.com, and today we have the amazing pleasure today of speaking with STYX keyboard extraordinaire Lawrence Gowan, who will be at the Pompano Beach Amphitheater February 19th, and Don Felder will be the opener for this particular show. And, of course, the headliners, STYX. I mean, you don't even know how excited I was when I got this press release a couple of days ago. And knowing that you guys are on the road, and after the year and a half that we have had and how the industry just completely shut down like we never thought it would before, it's just so great to have you guys coming back to our neighborhood.
Well, thank you very much for saying that, Bill. That has been our experience all through 2021. Just the hunger and the relief in a lot of ways that we saw on the faces of the audience. For a lot of them, it was just we saw it in their eyes. Mm-hmm. They just looked like they had finally, rekindled or brought back something that was very a vital force in their life, which is live music. And seeing a live STYX concert. I mean, I said it long before the pandemic. The greatest form of entertainment I've ever encountered in my life is a live rock show. Well, now it's taken on even a deeper meaning because you can see just how much people missed it by the necessary measures that were taken to keep us all apart for over a year. And it's been great. And so finally we're getting a chance to come and see you guys there on the 19th of February, and we'll have the same experience, I'm sure.
Now, the new album, Crash to the Crown, I believe you guys started it probably in like 2018, I'm going to say?
That's right. That's correct. In fact, all of them... Yep.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yes, that's correct. And all of the songs for Crash to the Crown, with the exception of two that are on the album, were written prior to the pandemic. So that's quite a notable thing because so many of the songs have related to what we've all been through over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think a lot of the songs on this album in some way are kind of relatable to what's going on as well. Now, was this album finished during lockdown and things like that? Was there any work done on it by then, or was a lot of it done already?
We had the songs mapped out prior to the lockdown, which we were all ready to convene in Nashville and bang the record out in a few weeks, all together. But when the pandemic first hit in March of 2020, our initial thoughts on the album were, well, this pandemic will pass over in about 6 or 7 weeks,
sure,
and we'll get back to business as usual. Well, after a couple of months, we realized, let's listen to where we are with the record and where these songs are, what they're sounding like, and what we're going to, come up with a plan. And when we did that, that was when we noticed what you just pointed out. So many of the songs, really all of them, in some way related to what we were going through, the mental state that everyone was kind of challenged by. And we realized that we should really finish this album now. We got to find a way to finish this thing despite the restrictions. Mm-hmm. And so we wound up kind of embracing technology in a new way, where we used those Zoom calls, which we'd never heard of in February of 2020, and were so second nature by around June or July. We used those Zoom calls, and then we used this new app called Audio Movers that could connect all our studios in real time. So Tommy and our producer Willie Vankovich were in Nashville. I have a great studio in Toronto. Todd Zuckerman has one of the most sophisticated drum rooms in the world in Austin, Texas, and we were all linked up together. JY and Ricky and Chuck Manazzo wound up going to Nashville as well. Mm-hmm. But we linked it up like that, and we started recording, and things just began to fall into place really far more naturally than we'd ever anticipated prior to this whole thing hitting us.
What's amazing is the sound quality that comes out of that, because 2 days ago I came across a performance of Blue Collar Man that you guys did, and you each have your own little kind of window in the video of whether you're in your studio or your house or something. Yeah. And to me, honestly, that particular performance, I invite everyone to go on YouTube and look for the lockdown version of Blue Collar Man. I swear, it kills the original. It's fantastic. And you guys are just in your element. You're having fun. Everybody's smiling. And to be so far apart, yet together at the same time, I think the technology is amazing. And it took the pandemic for a lot of people to discover this. So that's
That's a very good point. That's exactly our experience as well. We also did we did Bull in the River, and we did Too Much Time on My Hands, which really came across extremely well.
I saw that
fact,
one as well. My goodness, fantastic.
That one worked out so well that the Pittsburgh Steelers wound up playing it at one of their games on the jumbotron, because it kind of was by that point the whole idea of doing lockdown videos and recording from home, it had become really kind of acceptable in a lot of ways, and kind of fun. That kind of added an extra dimension to it, and we certainly embraced that on the Too Much Time video really well.
I remember during lockdown and such, people were creating playlists that were with songs related. So Too Much Time on My Hands was definitely on that list. Like REM's It's the End of the World as We Know It. People were creating these playlists, and it was kind of comical, but I think it helped people get through, what we've been going through. So yeah, definitely music is the healer, that's for sure.
It is the healer, and we just all experienced that in our own lives there, and that's great that you point that out.
Now, I also understand that songs, from the album, Crash of the Crown, when you guys are doing your live shows now, because you have to mix selections from past albums, from the new album, and of course, STYX classics. So I understand that a lot of the songs from Crash of the Crown are kind of dovetailed with STYX classics during the live performance.
That's exactly right. When you put out a new record with a band that's closing in on half a century of existence, it's a really tough set list to break live. But the great thing is, the last two albums we've made with The Mission and Crash of the Crown, we kind of wait to let the audience tell us what would they like to hear, if anything, from the new record. And very early on this tour, the album went to #1 on the rock album chart on Billboard, and that gave us a great confidence that we could weave some of these songs in and through some of the classic songs from the past, and we kind of found it a kind of seamless way of making that happen, so that we don't kind of interrupt the show and say, okay, and now we're going to play something brand new. We kind of weave it in with, for example, Sound the Alarm. Tommy weaves that right in with Crystal Ball, in such a seamless way, and it's very poignant, because you get the perspective of the guy today, the character in the song, and then the perspective of him from 45 years ago, trying to look into the future and seeing where things would land. So I love those moments where we kind of bring all the eras of the band together through playing new and classic material back to back.
I agree. Now, tell us about the artwork that's featured on the cover of Crash of the Crown, because I understand there's some hidden, quote, Easter eggs, unquote, on the cover there.
Yeah. The art, what's great, Bill, is that because we put this album out on vinyl, it's and the same with The Mission, it's rekindled that sense of the album being a piece of art, a piece of artwork, and a piece of art unto itself. And Todd Galoppo, who's the artist at Universal, graphic artist there, he came up with this when he heard the title Crash of the Crown. He came back with that image, and if you look at it, you'll see there's a number of very interesting things to it. For example, there are 12 people placed around that whatever you want to call it, that hole to another dimension, or that portal.
Yes.
They're if you look at it, they're placed like the numbers on a clock. At the very top is the tiny image is a guy that's been our in-house kind of documenter of the band's tours and albums, etc. for the last 10 years. And there are other little things, weaved in there. If you look on the back cover, there's a great down at the bottom where you might not even notice it. There's a great shadow of a tiny dove there that kind of leads to the feeling of hope and renewal that the album is pointing at. So it's quite an enigmatic cover, I think is the right word to use.
It almost sounds like it's kind of interactive a little bit, because once we read the liner notes and listen to the music,
Yes.
now we have something else
Yes.
that we can dive into. I think that's fantastic.
Correct. Yeah.
Now you've mentioned the mission a couple of times. Thank you guys so much for not waiting 14, 15 years to put out this new album. This one was rather quick compared to the other ones,
Bill, I'll tell you, no one's more relieved with that than we are, because part of that, I look at that and go, why did we wait 14 years? We put out a few sporadic one-offs, in that time, but we had so many great new ideas, and unfortunately, the music business side, as the recording side of things, had really gone into a tailspin, probably around the new millennium starting, but really between 2005 and 2013, 14, around there, it was really grappling with the whole idea of streaming and what the internet had done to that industry. That every time we went to make a new record, there'd be 50 reasons why we shouldn't. And so we just focused all our attention on touring and making the show better and better throughout those years. And, but things, that little ship began to kind of right itself around, like I said, around 2014 or 15. The original record company, Universal, came back into the picture, and, having all the STYX catalog, they suddenly wanted new material. They wanted a new album, and they wanted us to kind of do what we've been talking about, is make an album where you don't have to worry about airplay or anything like that. Just basically making a cohesive record that sticks together as 40 minutes of music that works on an album. And that's what we did with The Mission, and that's what we've done with Crash of the Crown.
Now, we're still kind of in a gray area as far as the pandemic and what's going on with it. How are you guys handling meet and greets? Are you doing them, or are you doing away with them until a further date? Because as you probably heard, Paul Stanley's long-standing guitar tech recently passed last week from COVID while on tour. I was just with them 3 weeks ago, and we had all access, and we were in the back with everyone and everything else, and it was pretty loose, And, of course, now the rest of the tour has been canceled till next year, probably because of that. How are you guys dealing with meet and greets or anything like that these days?
Okay, it's a great question. We are, we got through the entire summer. I don't think there was another band that made it all the way as long as we did. At this point, we've done 61 shows. We've got about another 10 to do in 2021. And, we really have been as careful as you can possibly be and do this. And some of the measures that we took are, two of our guys on our crew, our production manager and stage manager, they both got their COVID compliance licenses, which is basically over 2020, they were working on a lot of movie sets and learned, what measures were being taken there. And they brought a lot of that knowledge to our live tour when we started. So, for example, here's what's completely different. We go now from the tour bus to the dressing room, get ready for the show, go out on stage, play the show, and then straight back to the dressing room, straight back to the tour bus, and leave town. That's how it has to be. That's how we got through all the shows.
Sure.
No one's allowed backstage. No meet and greets. It's really difficult when you've got family members of people that you really want to see. Sure. And we just decided no, that we're not going to do it. We're just going to keep it tight as we possibly can. Even at that, there's all kinds of risks involved, and we looked at it like, every week felt like this could be the last week of our tour. Sure. So let's do everything we can. So we took really stringent measures. Everyone's vaccinated, everyone wearing masks, all the time except for during the show. So all of these measures, amounted to us getting through that, and probably a great big dose of luck.
Yeah.
So far so good. But yeah, we're in a different world as far as doing these live shows right now, and but they're still very, very worth doing, and we're glad we've done them.
Well, we're so glad to have you guys in Pompano Beach Amphitheater on February 19th, 2022 with Don Felder. And, keep making great music. Keep doing these shows. Bring us the music, which brings us hope. And, let's just keep being safe and doing what we need to do to be safe, to keep the concert industry going, to keep musicians and their families employed, and let's just go out and have a good time, but do it responsibly. And again, something new, because I think you guys have played the Pompano Beach Amphitheater, over the years in the past, and they just put a brand new roof over the place. So if it rains, we're still good to go. So,
woohoo!
So woohoo! Yeah.
So that's excellent. Well, Bill, you summed up the philosophy really well there. It's like, we've come to an era now where the word responsible and rock music doesn't usually go together.
Yes.
But look, we actually have to embrace some of that. It's the right way to try to keep everybody healthy. Mm-hmm. And part of your health, I believe, is keeping music alive in your life, and because it just lifts you, as you so well described there, and we love being the purveyors of that. It makes us feel great, and it makes the audience feel great, and we can continue to do this if people, do whatever they can to stay healthy and listen to what we're being told, because it's good information.
Yes, it is. And we love you guys. Thank you for everything that you do. And I want to give a shout out to Amanda Kagan, who is the best publicist in the industry. And I know she takes really good care of you guys. And you are the first show at the new Pompano Beach Amphitheater. So everything's looking up, baby.
Sounds good to me. Okay.
Safe travels on the road. Love you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Looking forward to it. STYX, February 19th. All right.
Amen, brother. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye, Bill.
Bye.